I don't know. Welcome back to Give 'em Truth Ministries. Guess what? We are going to finish up the series with Pastor Trenton Cruse from
What's up, guys?
Name of your church?
Next Level Freedom Church.
There you go. And this is going to be part 7. Will be the last one in that series. At least I think it will be. Well, it will be for now. Maybe 10 years down the road, we'll come back and
10 years.
Well, I got to give enough time for the history to happen, you know. But now we'll probably have some more shows with Trenton in the future.
Talk about Bible or something. We'll check out Let's Talk. We'll talk Bible study.
But this will be the last one for this series of I guess the years of where our ministry started to where we are now. So while we were actually looking back to see, like, I know it's been a long time since we've done this. We were just watching the last video and we were talking about how it might be up in 2 weeks. Well, it's been like 2 months, 2 months, almost 2 months, I guess.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but a lot of stuff's happened in there. You know, I got sick. He got sick. I went on vacation, and then just life happened. A couple holidays or something in there, and birthdays had happened.
Stuff going on
and
every weekend.
just stuff happening every weekend. It didn't work out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish up that series today. And so let's get into it. Where we left off was I think you were wanting to talk a little bit more about some of the stuff you learned down at Love and Truth church down in Jackson, Tennessee. So why don't you go ahead and start there, and we'll lead into where we're at.
Love and Truth, actually Union, when I got my degree. I think a lot of the things that helped me in particular is the fact that I was going to school, they were teaching me leadership, and at the same time I was getting to exercise leadership in the church. So in the church, and I learned a lot. I don't even know how to say. I got a mentor, and he started teaching me a lot. By the way, shouts out. I don't know if Philip will ever check this out, but shouts out to Philip Tabler.
He will if you send it to him and tell him to check it out.
Yeah, my mentor there for a long while now. You know, we separate, but he's still on my accountability board and stuff with the church, so he still is involved with my ministry. But yeah, it's like I got there, you know, and I think what happened is when I left Missouri, we left Perryville, and I was working in Jackson. We left here August 10th, 2012. We started basically a whole new life. But when I left, all I had was a drawing. I mean, on a piece of paper.
I think you talked about that last time a little bit.
So, but see, it became more the longer I was there. And it was just a drawing of a church. I was like, well, that'd be cool if this could happen. But I was basically like, you know, I've never seen a church where this type of stuff's happening, so it probably ain't. But, you know, it'd be cool if it could. So when we moved to Tennessee, we immediately, you know, we started visiting a few churches. Actually, Love and Truth, I think, was the first one we visited in Tennessee. And we enjoyed it, but we wanted to go ahead and do our due diligence, and we visited a few other churches in between, but something kept drawing us back, so we kept going back. And I believe it had something to do with our journey and what God had to teach us while we were there. While we were there, I started learning lots of stuff about leadership, how to run a church. But I think the thing that amazed me most about it is the fact that this church was doing it the way I wanted to see my vision happening. So I think it encouraged me and let me know, and it kind of gave me some excitement knowing that, hey, this isn't original. There are churches doing this, so it can happen. So, because I had crazy ideas, man. I was thinking sermon intros, you know, live worship band, you know, and we had been raised in traditional churches. It wasn't really all that. So, bam, all of a sudden I'm seeing this in front of me, and, you know, you got people serving in the church, because I definitely hadn't seen that in any of the churches I had grown up in. People just, you know, they'd show up for potluck, maybe cook a few things, and then that was it, you know, and then do a few things on the side. But people actually serving in the church as greeters, other than the deacons or the pastor of the church, people didn't really get involved a whole lot. I mean, they talked with the people they knew, and, you know, that type of stuff bothered me, because I feel that, you know, Christ's body ought to be actively serving in the church and helping God's kingdom, because it's not really about me. It's not really about Next Level Freedom Church. It's not really about it's about God's kingdom expanding and making it happen. So, and in order to do that, I believe it's a very strong bond between Christian believers, and they're serving and working together to make it happen. So all these things I started seeing behind the scenes stuff of how a church was ran, you know, the different things you don't think about that are actually going on behind the scenes at a church that make it a legal business or a nonprofit organization, a place to operate in. There's all that stuff. And I do have to once again give props to my mentor. He was the one that kind of taught me. I showed him my drawing, and I kept coming back to his office, and hey man, isn't this cool? This is what God showed me. What are we going to do with it? And he looked at me one day and he just kind of stopped me. He's like, so you've taught me about this building, but really, I want to know what's going on here. What's the ministry? And I'm like, oh. So, because I've been talking about a building, and a lot of pastors do that. They talk about the building and the building. But you see, the church isn't the building.
No.
The church is the ministry going on inside of the building, which it was there. But every time I would talk to him about stuff I wanted to see. And he just kind of pointed out to me, I see a ministry. I don't even see a building. I see a ministry happening here. Tell me about it. He's like, here's what I want you to do. And he sent me home. He's like, I want you
to work.
He's like, I want you to bring me a list of your values. And I actually had kind of come up with a vision statement and a mission statement at this point. I don't think it tweaked much after that point. And he's like, I want to see this stuff. I want to see, the stuff that you hold dear, that stuff in the church. You can bring me a list. What's your objective? What are you trying to accomplish? And so I went home and I got right to work. I mean, I had it in minutes. I'm saying it probably took me an hour to type it all up. But I'm like, because it was there, but I didn't know that's the type of stuff I need to be talking about is, what's going on here. What is the ministry? If you never get a church building, and I think he's the one that told it to me this way, if this building never exists, what is the ministry? What are you accomplishing? And that got me to thinking, because basically anytime I had grown up in a church, it was always about the building, or, if they're talking vision, it's always about building something. They don't talk about the ministry and what you're planning to accomplish. So, 4 years later, there's a lot more in there, but I don't want to, tell y'all with all that stuff. Besides, I can't remember all of it. I just know there was a lot that happened.
We've only got 15 minutes left. So.
But there was a lot of maturing, I think, that happened after that point. He kind of opened my eyes to some new things. I actually developed, I don't think I developed our journey until I got back here to Jackson. I developed our journey at the church and the kind of the journey we want to take people on. They had introduced me to something called Growth Track, which is how you become a member of a church, which is all good stuff. Because I think too many times in our churches nowadays, people come in, they get saved, they may even get baptized. But what's next? Yeah. What do we do?
Well, you see that a lot, I think. I know growing up, me and you, we've seen that a lot. How many people, I ain't going to start dropping names or nothing, but how many people did we watch accept Christ? And then the very next day, it was like, wait a minute, didn't I just see you last night at the altar? And it's like nothing changed. And
there's no direction.
Well, it is a process too at times. I get that, people's lives. It's not, even with me, I got saved in my life. It wasn't just boom, I'm Mr. Jesus now or whatever, Mr. Christian or anything like that. It's a process, but at the same time, I remember we would see people that would just be like, man, where's the change? Where's the growth? Where's anything? And so that's got to take place. If that's not taking place, then, that's kind of what the whole point of the actual ministry has to take place inside of that church or inside of that building, because we're the church, and we have to go and we have to bring the people outside of the building, get them saved, and then bring them. I heard somebody talking one time who was saying that the church is not for the lost. The building is for us to go to learn how to teach the lost how to be saved, to get them saved, and then bring them in. So it's like we need to go here, study, learn how to be effective, then go out and get those people. So
not to be misunderstood, because it is for the lost.
Yeah,
I think they need to be coming into the church.
It's good that they come into the church, but what the preacher was trying to say was he was trying to motivate the people, the Christians, to basically say, look, you're supposed to come here to get educated. You're supposed to come here to learn. You're supposed to come here to worship and to fellowship amongst other believers. That's what we're called to do in the Bible. Don't forsake yourself, the gathering with other believers, and go out and get those people and bring them in.
I think aside from the process as well, though, yeah, there's a process. You get saved, you're not going to immediately be this 100% A-okay, nothing wrong with me Christian. None of us are ever going to be that. Don't think you are, because we are always growing. But I think aside from the process, people need direction. They don't know, what do I do? You told me I got saved. You were so excited for me. I got baptized. Then I just never got talked to again. People just kind of left me hanging. And it's like, where's the discipleship? So I thought, and I started looking around. That's really what's missing. Now, I'm not saying that there's no discipleship in any churches. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, some people, they exercise discipleship through Sunday school. They exercise discipleship through their small groups, which is what we will be doing at Next Level Freedom Church. We'll have our connect groups or our small groups, and that's where people connect and be discipled. I mean, we'll disciple them at the church as well, but you need to be growing outside of the church building. You need to be pursuing God on your own time. You need to be having your Bible study time, your prayer time. And like he just said, when we come together to worship and be together for that fellowship, once a week, you ought to already had a great weekend with God and seeing, God do some things, and you're able to bring that back to the house. So exercise those gifts that God has given you.
Sadly enough, though, that's not what happens. You don't have that great relationship. Most Christians don't. It doesn't seem like anyway. It's they have one life at church and then they have another life outside of church or whatever.
Yeah.
And if just even in my life, it's hard when I go to church and it motivates me. I get motivation by going to church, and it encourages me to make it through Monday to Saturday. Because I try to absorb everything I can while I'm there, because it's, we're not going to lie, it's not easy being a Christian, in this world. There's so much stuff that is thrown at you, and, so many people watching you and so many people pointing fingers. But anyway, so we've went through our story, and Trenton's brought us pretty well up to date to where he's at today, launching into his church.
And we do intend to change what we just talked about, because the objective of Next Level Freedom Church is to unify a body of believers, outside of the church setting. So yeah, he's right. There's lack of that in the church today, and that is a big problem. Yeah. So one of our main goals at Next Level Freedom Church is to get outside of the walls and grow a body of believers. So hopefully we can make a change. I'm believing God is going to make a change, and we're going to see a difference in this area even. So, hopefully the country would be nice.
There you go.
So let's start that revival. Wouldn't it be great to say that revival started in Jackson?
Maybe that brings us, I guess, to the next point. Then maybe that's what's next for, I guess, what's next for us, what's next for me, what's next for Trenton. As we're winding down on our time here, I'm encouraged and I'm excited to see what's next. We were just talking earlier on I guess it was before we did Let's Talk. We just recorded a Let's Talk show, but I just completely lost my train of thought with what I was talking about.
We were talking
about, I guess, where we're going next and what we're going to do. We were talking about how since April, about Easter time, I've been getting just attacked, just like a spiritual attack over and over and over again, just from different types of sicknesses. With what I woke up and I was sick, couldn't breathe, my chest was hurting. It was just like a real bad allergies and sinuses and stuff I had. Then it moved into my wisdom teeth were hurting real bad, and they hurt and they ached for like a month, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And then I had to wear a heart monitor because I was having weird feelings in my chest. Turns out my heart's okay. Nothing's wrong with my heart. It was stress and things like that, they believe. But anyway, so it's just been one attack after another. And guess when it all started is whenever I made the decision that I was going to do more for God. And I actually took that step out and I started doing these videos and started trying to do more, trying to speak out more, which is not an easy thing to do. So it's just amazing how things like that will happen whenever you're trying to do something for God. And you know what that tells me, and I'm sure it tells you the same thing too, is that we're on the right track. We're doing something right. And the enemy doesn't want us to pursue, and the enemy doesn't want us to continue to take that next step like we've been talking about and Let's Talk, to keep pushing forward. But if you keep pushing forward, and I think what's going to happen is if we keep pushing forward with your church, and if I keep pushing forward with what God's asked me to do, then we're going to reach bigger and we're going to reach better things, more people, more opportunities. For some reason, people, when they always see ministry like in the world or whatever, they think somebody's trying to make money. And then whenever you have certain people that, that are not trying, that's the farthest thing from my mind, is trying to make money through YouTube. Hey, it'd be great, but come on, you've got to have millions of views and millions of subscribers and stuff like that to make it happen. That's not why I'm doing it, and I know that's not why he's doing it. We're just doing it because we want to see lives change. He's doing it because he's starting a church, and he's trying to get people involved in that church, and he's trying to get that church to grow and get people to want to serve, not for his benefit, but for the benefit of the community, to get people saved for God's kingdom, so we can, grow that kingdom. And, every time I pray, whenever we do the offering at my church, I always pray that, the offering that comes forth would grow God's kingdom, not grow our church, not put new things on our church, because all that stuff will come and all that stuff will happen because you have to take care of your building. But the money that comes in goes out and builds God's kingdom. And that's the whole point of all of that, So where are we going in the future, Trenton? What do you see, or what are your hopes? I guess real quickly, we're getting close. So what are your next steps? And then I guess, what do you hope to ultimately be? I don't want to call it a final stage of your church, but because hopefully it'll continue to always grow. But what is like your long-term goal, real quick?
Well, I'm going to start by saying, for those of you out there checking us out, I've heard several pastors say it this year, the year of double portion. Get yours. God's going to pour out a double portion this year. They keep saying it. So, and I believe it, because I see God doing new things. Like he said, you took the initiative. You've been getting attacked for doing it. I've been getting it ever since I started.
You know what? But this is a war, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's what this is.
So you don't expect to be pampered when you show up.
Just because you're doing things right don't mean things are going to go right all the time.
I say long-term goal, just like I just said, the objective is to establish and unify a body of believers, even outside of the church setting. So I believe it goes into businesses. I believe it goes into wherever you're at, hanging out, places people socialize, whether it's a coffee shop, whether it's the workout room. I'm not really into that, obviously. But,
me either.
But whatever you do, the pool, whatever you do, basketball, whatever it is, we're planning to, touch on all of these things through Next Level Freedom Church. Once we get the church going and established, we're going to be launching businesses, things that we believe that will help people to grow in their walk with Christ, because that's always what it's about. It's always about him and his kingdom, because he came, he died, he paid the price so I wouldn't have to. Yeah. And I thank him every day for that, because without him, this stuff's a waste of time. If Jesus hadn't rose from the dead, and there's some people out there that tell you he didn't, then this is just a waste of time. You shouldn't even be listening to us. But he did raise from the dead. Yep. And he is alive, and he is sitting at the right hand of the Father today. And he's going to see his church established before the last day. And then the Bible even talks about, and I've been typing up our growth track book for those of you that's looking to go through that class if you're checking this out. But it's talking about that the Bible even indicates that the whole world will have heard his message before he returns. Yeah. So Christians, if you're looking for Jesus to come back, you better get busy. You can't just be sitting on your couch waiting, because we've got to be the ones telling the world. He uses us. He chooses to use us. He doesn't have to. He's God. He can do whatever he wants. Wipe us all out if he wants to, start again, but he doesn't do that. He chooses to use us and use our abilities and our talents to reach others. And I think that that's what God's up to this year and in the years to come. I think we're going to see God's kingdom grow, but we're also going to see some tribulation. I mean, the Bible even talks about tribulation will come. Jesus says, you're going to get persecuted. I got persecuted. Why wouldn't they persecute you? Is what Jesus said, not me. But
if they hated you, it's because they hated him first. I always think about that.
He led the way. And I think it really all gets back to our vision statement at Next Level Freedom Church is reaching others where they're at, because that's what Jesus did. He went to where they were at, and he spoke to them on their terms where they could understand it. And I believe that's why Jesus had the masses. I mean, he had thousands of people following him, because he would take the time to become a part of their lives, be in their situation. So I think that if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we should be seeing growth in our churches. So, I mean, what's up? We need to be moving forward. So that's not to discourage you. That's to encourage you. Keep moving. Even if you're 93, 4, 5 years old, 100 years old listening to this, guess what? You're still breathing, so God's still wanting to use you to do something. So
you say that. I've actually read and seen a couple of things of people that's actually prophesying that over people that have retired, are just kind of
I did it. I'm done.
I'm done. I'm a Christian. I just want to go to church. And God's saying to him, no, you're not done yet. I've still got use for you. And you know what? I think where that's this is just me. Maybe y'all can correct me if you disagree with me, but I think what God's doing is those warriors of the past, or however you want to say that, those that have come up now and they're elderly or whatever, God's still wanting to use them because I think God has to use them, because I think that there's a younger generation, that millennial generation, that is not stepping up, not being used by God, and don't know God, don't want nothing to do with God. So where does that leave? We're gonna have to wrap this up. So where does that leave? So where does that leave us? I guess I am going to continue to do these videos the best that I can. We are going to continue to do the Let's Talk. So I hope that you guys are checking that out. And I'm sure Trenton is going to continue to do his videos.
Bible study, Unified.
I'm still looking for other ways for God to use Give 'em Truth Ministries. I have a few things. We've talked about one of them in episodes past, and then everything kind of got hectic and crazy. I'm looking forward to bringing that back in with having somebody help me with business cards and passing out, doing T-shirts and things like that, because I really want this to grow, not for my benefit, but like he said earlier, for the kingdom, to do something. So that's my goal, I guess. Close goal, or not too far out goal. That's something that I'm looking forward to doing. So what does the future hold? I have no idea, but I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna keep messing up probably, but I'm gonna keep getting up, and I'm gonna keep trying again, and that's where I'm hoping to for the future.
I just want to
no huge goals or anything.
I don't know if you've got any elders that check out the show, but I mean elderly, like older people, but an encouragement to you that God does want to use you. As much negative as there is in this millennial generation, the one thing that people are still talking about is that the millennials have a high respect for the older generation. What they need you to do, though, is approach them at your own. Be yourself. Don't come and try to be a millennial and try to talk to them. What's up, dog? And all this stuff. They don't want to hear that.
I don't think they say that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
So in your age, old man.
So they want you to approach them and just be yourself. Talk to them. And, if 80% of the people in the country said they'd go to church if they were invited, guess what? We need to be inviting some people, Christians. So just want to say that as encouragement. Come check us out at Next Level Freedom Church. We'll be launching September 30th, 2018. Wow, it's 18. At 10 a.m. I don't want to disclose the location yet, but you can keep checking out our Facebook page, and we can give you that if you're interested in coming and checking us out. Otherwise, the sermons will be on YouTube, places for other people to check them out. So just want to throw that out there. God bless. Check out Through the Book Unified on our channel.
All righty. Make sure and give this video a like. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. I'll appreciate it. You know what? I get more views than I have subscribers. So if you're watching the video and you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it.
Let's hope it's not because you're watching it over and over.
No, I haven't even watched my last video since I recorded it. So, I appreciate everybody that is checking them out. Make sure you please feel free to share. If you feel if the Holy Spirit leads you to share it with somebody, or put it on your Facebook page and encourage people to check it out, because that's what it's about. That's you doing your part in ministry or whatever is helping me do my part. So anyway, this is the wrap up of episode 7 of the life journey, I guess, of the ministry journey of me and Trenton. So it's
Paul and Barnabas.
It's been a fun video series. I look forward to doing some more series. I got some other series coming up, some other people. Somebody just texted me the other day and was like, "Hey, when are we gonna do that video?" It's coming. For you who did text me, you know who you are. It's coming. I promise. I'll get back in contact with you soon. Just gotta get the dates worked out. So until next time, love y'all. Get out there and show somebody the truth, and make sure and direct them back to this page. And direct them to Trenton stuff. We appreciate it. So, all right.
See you guys.